So it's been about a month and a half since the official release of Elden Ring Nightreign, and I decided to make this video to show my path to obtaining the Platinum Trophy. So let's get into it. In comparison to other From Software titles, Elden Ring Nightreign's trophy list is fairly straightforward, with our main objective to defeat each of the 8 Night Lords. After clearing the tutorial, I was met with my first challenge, fighting a familiar foe, Margaret the Fell Omen. I'm happy to report back that this went seamlessly, and I was able to get this done first try. Shortly afterwards, we entered the Round Table Hold, which is actually where we popped our first trophy. With that out of the way, it was time to hop into my first game of Elden Ring Nightreign, and I was actually surprised by the amount of trophies that were unlocked during this run. We were able to unlock Legendary Armament after defeating a field boss. After defeating the Knight 2 boss, we were able to unlock Replenish Sacred Flasks for getting the maximum amount of flask upgrades. And then after absolutely not defeating the Night Lord, we were able to unlock Relic for applying a relic for the first time. Although it was excellent to unlock so many trophies early on, my main focus shifted to completing the Tricephalos expedition and defeating Gladius, Beast of Night. The closer my group got to completing this expedition, the more I wanted it, and I quickly realized that the gameplay loop of Elden Ring Nightreign had me hooked. I made a vow to myself that I was not going to get off the game until we completed the first expedition. After 3 more attempts in total, this happened. As you can see with the webcam footage, I was absolutely ecstatic to complete the first expedition and unlocking the Tricephalos trophy. Little did I know, however, the real fight was only beginning. Before we continue, if you consider checking out my other social medias to help grow the channel, that would be extremely appreciated. Upon returning to the Round Table Hold, I unlocked the trophy of the Night Lords, which basically opened the entire game up to allow me to choose which boss I would like to fight next. Before starting another expedition, I was able to unlock a few more trophies, the first for unlocking the playable character known as the Duchess. After unlocking the Duchess, my next task was unlocking the Revenant, and honestly, this fight took a lot longer than it should have. I was dealing with attempts like the one shown. And when I finally did defeat the boss, I don't really feel like I actually accomplished anything because I died at the exact same time and I thought I wasn't even going to pop the trophy. Thankfully, the trophy did unlock, and I was happy to have that fight behind me and move on to the next trophy. Before commencing my next expedition, I was able to unlock one more trophy. This trophy was titled Vessel, and essentially I unlocked it by purchasing a new vessel from the shop and equipping it. While completing expeditions in Elden Ring Nightreign, there's a chance that you might encounter a raid. These raids are boss fights that provide your character with a buff that carries on throughout the remainder of the expedition. As you can see, our next 2 trophies are for doing just that, the first being the Fell Omen, and the second being the Augur. I will mention that these fights were not particularly challenging, and they were an excellent source of runes, so I was always happy to see them pop up during a run. The next trophy that I unlocked was titled Mastery, and this was for achieving level 15 during a run. Honestly, this seemed like a challenge at first, but the more that I played, the easier it was to consistently get higher and higher levels. Before I knew it, it was time to fight Nosker, Will of Night. Honestly, I didn't find the fight too challenging, but I loved the concept. I felt it was reminiscent of the Twin Princes fight from Dark Souls 3, but that could be a reach. Needless to say, I was happy to have this fight completed and to earn the Sentient Pest trophy. Our next two trophies were fairly straightforward. The first was titled Dresser, and it was for equipping a new skin at the Round Table Hold. And the second was titled Untold Power, and it was for defeating 10 or more great enemies on one expedition. Next up, it was time to complete the Fissure in the Fog expedition. This fight was easily one of the most cinematic fights in this whole experience. I would put it up there with some of From Software's best. Hopping right back into the action, it was time to take on the Gaping Jaw expedition and fight Adele, Baron of Night. In terms of overall difficulty, I would consider Adele, Baron of Night to be amongst the middle of the pack, but there were some mechanics that were initially difficult to learn, meaning this took my group several attempts to complete. Eventually, we were able to get the job done and unlock the Gaping Jaw trophy. Once I returned to the Round Table Hold, I was able to unlock the Night Begins trophy. This trophy auto-unlocks once you complete 4 of the 8 expeditions. The next trophy that I unlocked was titled Mountaintop, and it was for completing the Mountaintop Shifting Earth event. I will note that our group did not fight the dragon at the top of the mountain, we simply walked around it and were able to go up and pop the trophy. I was able to unlock the True Arbiter trophy next for completing the Equilibrious Beast raid. I unlocked the trophy Oldest Jail by defeating the Ancient Dragon in an Everjail. This was another one that just kind of randomly happened in a run. I also unlocked the Plague of Locusts trophy. This was for completing the Sentient Pest raid. Another trophy where the difficulty really comes from having this event spawn in, as it is random. My next task at hand was completing the Augur expedition and defeating Maris, Fathom of Night. I will say that this was my least favorite fight out of the 8 expeditions, mainly due to the fact that there's not much going on and you simply chase the boss around for the majority of the fight. At this point, the Shifting Earth provided me with the Rotted Woods map, and I was able to get the trophy correlating to its Shifting Earth event. My next challenge was to complete the Dark Drift Night expedition and defeat Fulgore, Champion of Nightglow. Reflecting back on my time playing Elden Ring Nightreign, I can confidently say that this is my favorite boss fight. I think it has something to do with the combination of the tone of the fight, as well as the second phase, and just the boss's mechanics in general. I decided to complete a few more trophy requirements before starting our next expedition, the first being Night Lord Slayer for defeating 3 different Night Lords in a row. I was also able to complete the Shifting Earth event for the Crater. While not necessarily challenging, it did take a majority of Night 2, which was difficult to complete with randoms. This next boss does not deserve an introduction, explanation, none of it. It was an absolute pain to complete, so instead, enjoy this clip. With that fight out of the way, the only expedition left was to complete the final boss. Honestly, I was more expecting this to be a practice run, as I even had my friend SharePlay playing in the background. I ended up getting hard carried by the two random teammates that I was playing with, so shout out to them. They're clearly not watching the video, but we were able to get this done first try. After the completion of the fight, we were able to unlock 3 trophies: Night Lord Conqueror, Night Aspect, and Dawn after reaching the final cutscene. After defeating all 8 Night Lords, the only thing left was to do the cleanup for the Platinum Trophy. Our next trophy was unlocked from purchasing all vessels from the item shop. Next, I was able to unlock 2 trophies for completing the last Shifting Earth event. Next, I obtained Set and Steadfast for having a full loadout of purple or higher gear. The last trophy that we were required to unlock to obtain the Platinum Trophy for Elden Ring Nightreign was titled the Champion's Path, and that was for completing an expedition with all 8 characters. To obtain this trophy, I just replayed the Tricephalos expedition over and over again using each character. This made the process a little bit tedious, but it got the job done and was reliable. And just like that, we unlocked the Nightreign Platinum Trophy. As a die-hard fan of From Software titles, Elden Ring Nightreign was a breath of fresh air. Yes, the game does have its limitations such as no crossplay or in-game voice chat, but overall, what an enjoyable game it was. Since unlocking the Platinum Trophy, I was also able to complete the enhanced versions of the Sentient Pest, Dark Drift Night, and Gaping Jaw expeditions. I'm currently counting down the days until July 31st, when the next batch of enhanced expeditions are released. Overall, I'd give Elden Ring Nightreign an 87%, and I would also consider it a Platinum Trophy that's worth your time. Before concluding today's video, I'd like to shout out Mason, Brian, and Elmac for completing the Platinum Trophy with me, as well as Kaylee and Riggs for putting up with me for playing this game for 150 hours. Catch you in the next one.